Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere out there. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Friday, March 20th. And I don't see the show that I loaded on Rumble. Is Rumble coming through? It says it's streaming, but I do not see it. I changed the title, but it didn't change it. Okay, I see it on... I see Patriot Warrior Texas over there. Excellent. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2026. And this thing right here that you are watching is called the TNAM Daily Show right here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you on today's show. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I went through many different versions of the Chuck Norris joke that I could tell. So if you have a favorite version of the Chuck Norris joke, please tell us in the comments. Grok could not help me come up with a funny joke. But you know the famous Chuck Norris didn't die. He just ghosted the entire mortal plane. Chuck Norris didn't die. Death DM'd him, you up, and got left on red. Chuck Norris didn't die. He roundhouse kicked his own expiration date into next week. You know, none of these really were able to fit the essence. Chuck Norris died. Death whispered, "You're next." And the calendar laughed nervously. Chuck Norris is dead. His tombstone just has a picture of a roundhouse kick in the word "try me." Chuck Norris died. The Reaper's therapist now has a new recurring nightmare. Chuck Norris passed away. God just DM'd Satan. Bro, you good? He's coming up here too. Chuck Norris died. Facts are on life support. Like none of these really hit the essence. Chuck Norris died. Death just got added to the Mount Rushmore of badasses. None of these really worked. Death finally got a W on his record. Chuck Norris died. The Afterlife filed a noise complaint. Like, none of these are really... I was looking for funny, and I just couldn't. Death just filed for unemployment. Chuck Norris didn't die. The universe just hit its daily Chuck Norris limit and blue screened. Like, none of these are really funny. But if you have a favorite one, please let me know. Hit the thumbs up button. We're going to talk about the SAVE Act. We're going to talk about all the things in the news. So, there you go, Nick. See, this is the Nick we like having in the show. This is the essence of Nick. Nick, you finally found our show on time, by the way. Bravo, good sir. Bravo. Chuck Norris doesn't turn the lights on when he enters a room. He turns the dark off. Yeah, so here's all right. Here is my challenge of the day to you, dear viewer. All right. Find me some of these and put them in the chat. Just all show. Just Google some, find your best, copy paste. You cannot overdo it today. I just want to constantly break the monotony of the daily shit show, which is the news, with some of these. This is a good one. Chuck Norris doesn't turn the lights on when he enters a room. He turns the dark off. Or like Leon says, when Chuck was born, he slapped the doctor. Yes, give me these. So I tried to find one about him dying. I couldn't think of a good one. I couldn't think of a good one. I couldn't AI generate a good one. I didn't find a good one scrolling. So if you have a good one about him passing, I'll probably change the title to make it match. But yes, thank God it's Friday indeed, Marion. I'm so ready for it. Do you have any plans this weekend? Well, I got some stuff planned, but the thing I have planned for you is called the TNAM Daily Show, and it starts right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
All right, everybody. Like I said, I want to see all of your best Chuck Norris comments. Put them in chat. I want them in Rumble. I want them in every outhouse, hen house, farmhouse, and iron house from here to there. We got a fugitive out there. Tommy Lee Jones. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Give me all your best Chuck Norris memes, please. All right, let's buzz into the news, shall we? What do we have sitting? Let's hit refresh on Instagram. Where are we at today? Oh, Instagram took 2 followers away for no reason. They will not let me get to 1,000 followers so that we can stream this show live on Instagram. They hate me. Oh, that's a good one, too. I've heard that. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down. Okay. Here, I'm going to have to ask Jamie. Chuck. Chuck Norris doesn't sleep. He waits. Okay. Chuck Norris facts exploded as a major internet meme in early 2005. They originated on the Something Awful forums, when users started posting absurd hyperbolic facts exaggerating a celebrity's toughness and invincibility. It began as Vin Diesel facts tied to his movie The Pacifier. But forum members quickly switched to Chuck Norris because his action hero persona from movies like Missing in Action and the TV show Walker, Texas Ranger fit the over-the-top style perfectly. A key early booster was a dedicated Chuck Norris fact site created by Ian Spector, which collected and spread them virally. Oh, this is great. Some credit Conan O'Brien's running gags about Chuck Norris on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, often mocking Walker, Texas Ranger episodes, as extra inspiration that helped fuel the trend. While people told casual Chuck Norris' super tough jokes as far back as the 1980s, tied to his martial arts and movie reputation, the structured, iconic fact format that became the meme started in 2005 on these forums. It basically birthed a whole style of modern internet humor, absurd exaggeration as facts that influenced countless later celebrity memes. Chuck Norris didn't die. He just let the internet think it won for a while. That was Grok's version of a joke. All right. He's pushing the earth down. So yeah, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. All right, let's start with this one. This happened while I was wrapping up the show yesterday, but I didn't want to. I couldn't make the show run any longer. I had to bounce. But that being said, did you see this? A Japanese reporter speaking with President Trump is asking about Iran. Why didn't you tell Japan about the Iran war?
We Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me. No, you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out the first 2 days. We probably.
Who knows more about surprise than Japan? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Holy shit. You may never have a funnier president. But the joke was sort of, I mean, it was an easy alley-oop. All you had to do was catch it and dunk the ball. It was right. It was perfectly set up for you. I'm not saying I would have made that same joke, but maybe I would have. Bravo. Why didn't you tell Japan about the attack on Iran? Well, we wanted it to be a surprise. And who knows more about surprise than Japan? Hey, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Oh, my God. Yeah, David, I'm sad to see about Chuck being dead. So I'm going to just try to lighten the air. If you missed the intro, David, find all of your favorite. Chuck Norris he doesn't do push-ups. Hold on. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down. Give us as many of those Chuck Norris facts as you can. All show long, type them in the comments, please. I'm going to laugh. When Chuck Norris lifts weights, the weights get in shape. They're the best. Keep them coming. All show long. But yeah, President Trump, that was just epic. I think I have a longer version of this that I'll play on the X feed. Why? Okay, so this is James O'Keefe, I believe, Citizen Journalism Foundation. So he says they caught NGOs pretending to be LAPD in order to intimidate them, and that's a crime.
Are you filming us?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you with?
Who you with?
Who are you with?
Who you with?
Who are you with?
Who you with? I'm with the LAPD.
I'm sorry?
I'm with the LAPD.
You're with the Los Angeles Police?
Yeah.
Can I get some identification?
Yeah.
Can I get some identification?
Yeah. Can I see yours?
You know it's a crime to say you're with the police when you're not.
No, I'm not with the LAPD.
Well, that's what you just said 2 minutes ago.
I'm with the LAPD.
Under California law, pretending to be a police officer is a misdemeanor.
Interesting intimidation tactics.
That's California Penal Code 538D.
Why did you lie?
As the NGOs pretended to be the police in order to intimidate us, I began to wonder whether we're still living in America. The Department of Justice has been sent these tapes of election fraud cash exchange for voter registration happening in broad daylight, and we have informed the Department of Justice there are more tapes coming. There will be a new tape dropping every day until someone is arrested or indicted.
Let's go. Citizen Journalism Foundation. I thought it was O'Keefe Media Group. I don't know what Citizen Journalism Foundation is. Anyone? Oh, I'm so here for it. We need an enema in the worst.
An Iranian.
No. I've read, well, here, let me just play this as it is, and I'll tell you two things about it.
Iranian man played the sound of a drone on his car radio, causing the checkpoint personnel to flee after hearing the sound. Oh God. Bro, PTSD, yeah. And so, bro, yeah, they're afraid, man. They're afraid as hell. And that sounds overlaid. Maybe it is. I don't know, but it's really fucking funny. I'll tell you that. And even the guys laughing, yeah. And you saw that, man. They found a glitch, yeah. And so that's the reason they're stressed out. The reason why they're getting blown the fuck up. And an Iranian man played this.
So he's saying that it was overlaid over the video, and someone else says it's not even from Iran. But it is an interesting concept. What would make those people run like that? Could you play the sound of buzzing drones? And that is going to be the sound of future warfare, by the way. But if you see that video, it doesn't appear to be legitimate. Benny Johnson shared this about what appears to be legitimate, according to Benny at least. 0 heart inflammation cases in unvaccinated kids. Oh, by the way, this is where I have to tell you about countervailing views. Here we go. Let's put it up on the screen. If you want to go get countervailing views on anything regarding the 2020 wink, wink elections or vaccinations or COVID-19, definitely came from a pangolin who kissed a turtle. Definitely not the Institute of Virology. Go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Go get your countervailing views so that we don't get our content removed from YouTube. See, it's on the screen. We're playing your game. Yes, yes. Benny Johnson is reporting 0 heart inflammation cases in unvaccinated kids. Large UK study of 1.7 million children finds myocarditis and pericarditis only in mRNA vaccinated group. Who could have guessed this or told you about this? Yeah, dorky horse owner. We didn't need a study. We knew. Someone else saying population control was the goal. Yeah. I've watched this report get passed around. I'll have to see if I find it on X where I can dig in a little deeper.
However,
all right, let's talk about the Iran war. Ben Swann, you could put Ben Swann in the list with Ben Swann with Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, boy, Theo Von, Tim Dillon. Actually, let's just let Ben speak for himself. But I think Ben here is playing, and you saw Ben in our intro. You know, we like Ben. We've interviewed Ben. He used to work with Russia Today. He's a bit of a contrarian. Not that he's anti-Trump or anti-MAGA, but I'll let Ben speak for Ben. But what we're going to do is we're going to compare and contrast what Tulsi Gabbard said about the war in Iran with some context. I am playing all sides of the things, and we can make our own determinations. I'm not just going to rah, rah, rah for Trump or rah, rah, rah for MAGA, although I am supporting and hoping that these are going to be better decisions for our country in the long run. And maybe I don't have all the information right now to make a definitive statement. There we go. A definitive statement. Is this war good? Is this war bad? Maybe so, maybe not. Are we being dragged around by the nutsack by Bibi Netanyahu? Maybe so, maybe not. Is there a larger geopolitical play to undo decades of treason where U.S. elected representatives sold our country out to fucking China? We lost the Panama Canal. We lost sovereignty over this hemisphere. We've got dictators stealing from their citizens, fucking everything up almost everywhere on the globe. And are we resetting some of these paradigms? Maybe. Is that warmongering and New World Order, neocon nation building? Maybe so, maybe not. I can appreciate these perspectives from all walks of life. If there's a circle, there's a lot of spokes. coming into the center of this wheel. I get it. I get it. So let's let Ben Swan break down. I can get this damn countervailing views thing off the screen. We're adults. We can have adult conversations, you know? Yeah, we're going to get to Chuck Norris. I just mentioned it, and I wanted to lightheartedly just, tell some Chuck Norris facts. But yeah, he was rushed to the hospital with an urgent medical condition. I mean, it feels like heart attack. I don't know that, like, just my spidey senses of reading preliminary reports on TMZ and other outlets seem to indicate that it might have been, I mean, what other urgent health related? I mean, it could be a stroke or a heart attack or something, but yeah, he was on the beach training very recently, a week or two ago, maybe. So yeah, we'll get into that, but yeah, we've all sort of missed. They didn't really announce it yet. All right, let's get back to Tulsi Gabbard explaining the Iraq War.
However, the
Iran mission.
intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range.
All right, let's jump right into it, because that was today's testimony from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. She says that Russia, China, and Iran are developing massive missile stockpiles that will be able to reach the U.S. homeland, carrying both nuclear and conventional payloads. It is a serious warning, and it is also, well, in many ways, the opposite of what Gabbard was saying about Iran, at least just a year ago. Remember this?
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Again, that was a year ago, 2025, when Gabbard, under oath, said that U.S. intelligence at the time showed that Iran was not actively building a nuclear weapon. Now fast forward to today, and not only does Director Gabbard say that Iran posed, in fact, a nuclear threat to the United States, she is warning that if the Iranian regime survives, it will restart those programs again.
The IC assesses that if a hostile regime survives, it will likely seek to begin a years-long effort to rebuild its military, missiles, and UAV forces. Prior to Operation Epic Fury,
I sure hope this music isn't going to get me busted. I sure hope it doesn't flag something. I'm just trying to listen to the Ben Swan report.
the IC assesses Iran was trying to recover from the severe damage to its nuclear infrastructure sustained during the 12-day war, and continued to refuse to comply with its nuclear obligations with the IAEA, refusing them access to key facilities.
Gabbard says that Iran's government has been degraded by this current war, but remains intact. We know that to be true. She also says they could rebuild their capabilities. So here's the question. What changed? And we have to ask, is it actually the intelligence that has changed, or is it the politics?
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress.
The worldwide threat, did you say hearing?
National intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated.
One thing Tulsi Gabbard has not explained is, why did this intelligence assessment from 1 year ago so drastically change? Was it wrong then, or is it wrong now?
However,
Yeah, it's that. Were you lying then, or were you lying now? Yeah, you're right. Ben Swan is an OG. Shit. I mean, God, what year was that Conscious Life or the Politicon? Jeez, hold on. United We Stand Festival. I've been to so many events. They all sort of blur together in the old noggin. Yeah, Ben is OG. I want his perspective on everything. We played you the clips where they're analyzing the AI of Benjamin Netanyahu. and saying, hey, what's going on? You okay, bro? Are you really with us? Because you seem to be very AI. David says, what I can't understand is I thought they had total air superiority. Why is Iran still able to supposedly attack anyone? A lot of things aren't making sense. Well, I mean, number one, you're going to always... There's a couple things about President Trump. Like him, dislike him, indifferent, hot and cold, whatever it may be. Ghosts tell Chuck Norris stories at the campfire. Nice, Patriot Warrior. Keep them coming all day long. I need Chuck Norris facts. Give me as many Chuck Norris facts as possible, please. Scott Adams would always talk about President Trump. The thing that he will... you can count on the fact that President Trump will always take the strongest position. You can also count on the fact that Trump is... he has a... it's similar to Reagan, a little rah-rah, a little pro-America, a little inspirational. He'll take the tough guy stance. The toughest stance possible is the one that Trump will pick. That's something Scott Adams pointed out, and I'm like, that's almost always true. Trump is very, very cocksure, very, very confident, very positive about the decisions that are made and the repercussions of those decisions. Might be braggadocious, might be is there a way to exaggeratory? That's not a word. Exaggeratable? Is there a way to change the word exaggerate? He might embellish, he might exaggerate a little bit. So when we say we have air superiority, I mean, it's pretty clear that we do. With every rocket they launch, we identify the launch point, and said launch point is demolished. So you look at the number of rockets that have been launched in the past 2-3 weeks, and it's like, okay, every time they do, they give away their location. So go ahead, let them rip, because now we're going to let you rip. Bang. And so now, if they have more left, you just assume that they do, but now they know if they use them, they're toast. So what do? Do you have to move them to different places and try to confuse them and move them? Put them on the backs of truck beds and shoot one off and then move it away? I don't know. But yeah, total air superiority might not be literally true, but is it directionally true? I think it could be directionally true, yes. Once again, that's another phrase that Scott Adams... I really do miss his show. I picked up a lot from his daily shows. And I would love to hear his perspective on this right now. Love to hear it. But directionally true. Maybe we're not literally in possession of complete air superiority, but functionally, yeah, for the most part. So we will see how it shakes out. But yeah, Tulsi is... Some people are saying, Bill O'Reilly, we played a clip that he thinks Tulsi is going to leave the administration very soon, like she was left out of the Venezuela decision because she opposed it. I don't know. Tulsi was there in Georgia. Tulsi went down to Georgia. Go ahead, finish the song. I'm not going to sing it. And I'm not calling her a devil, no. The Georgia election fraud, the 2020 case. Director of National Intelligence has a major role to play if she wants to be a part of it. I hope she does, and I hope she is. Time will tell. But that's Ben Swan saying, were you lying then, or are you lying now? Unfortunately, yeah, this appears to be legitimate. I don't know why they're showing a picture of fire. Did they burn him too? Iran executes a champion wrestler and 2 others in public hangings. I believe I played a clip of Dana White discussing this. that, there's not much he could do. He called the president saw what he could do, etc. And I wonder what's going to happen to those Iranian lady soccer players. Continued prayers for them, for sure. For protesting in January is what this was for. Not good.
I don't have a hesitation.
Speaking of not good, we played you yesterday, Kathy Hochul. It was a side-by-side of her saying, if you're this way and you're that way, get out. Go to Florida. We don't want your politics here. Go. And then she's crying. She's like, we've lost our tax base. They've gone to Florida. So if you have a millionaire friend that wants to pay his fair share, can you bring him back? It's like, you goofballs. Every time you get some power, you pull this bullshit. When will people stop voting Democrat? Not an endorsement of the Republican Party. New York is just imploding. I was very against Hochul and Mamdani, but like on some level, you can almost do nothing but laugh at it. Let's listen to the latest from Mamdani. We played 2 wacky clips from him yesterday. They want to lower the speed limit, I believe, from 35 to 20 so they can ticket everybody because they need to squeeze more money out of everyone. And then the other one was his wife. What was it? She was laughing at posts about Jewish captives being arred and abused or cade, and illustrating a book for... Oh, we got more on his wife today. But every day it just seems to get better and better for Mamdani the commie. So let's take a listen how they're going to pay for all these perfect programs. We'll pay for everything, they said. Well, problem with socialism.
I have a hesitation.
The problem with socialism is eventually you run out of everybody else's money.
And asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become reality here in the city.
Tom.
Amidst...
It's
It's the first time. It's the first time Tom doesn't have words.
You chase your tax base out, and what do you expect? You chase all the people out that are paying taxes so that the government can find ways to make maybe subsidized daycare to help workers be available and do something productive that helps everything come together. Instead, you stand there and say, well, daycare is $20,000 a year, and even people $300,000 a year, they have trouble making it, and you want to take half of it, right?
Can we actually give the exact stats, Rob? I just sent you this tweet. If you want to pull that up, this is very important for all of us to. It is. This is very important to see the details of what he's doing. So Mamdani has proposed lowering the exemption on death taxes, estate tax, from 7.1 million down to 750. Okay. He also increased the death tax from 16% to 50%.
That is crazy.
In his city.
That is crazy.
No other jurisdiction in the U.S. confiscates wealth at death from people with that small of an estate. Anyone with any equity in a home New York City would likely exceed the 750 and have to pay the death tax. There is a federal estate tax or estate wealth that exceeds $15 million individuals. However, you can deduct the other state and city estate taxes before paying for the federal estate tax. So effectively, Mamdani is preventing the federal government from taxing estates. New York City and New York State are taking it first. They're taking it first. The money goes to them first.
Translate it for people. Your mom is a widow. Your dad's been gone for a while. God rest his soul. And your mom passes away. You find out her home in New York is worth $770. Your sister is married with a child, and you say, wouldn't it be great if my sister could move into mom's house because it's all paid for? Yeah, but now someone in the family's got to come up with $350,000.
That's insane.
Minimum to give to the city of New York because the house is being taxed.
Yeah,
so you know what they do? They sell the house. Your sister, your brother-in-law, and the child, they continue to live in the Bronx until they get a better job outside the city. Let me tell you, that's the story. Do you see what just happened?
Yeah, and
I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, define a little bit, you scumbag.
So that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders.
Anyway, you get it. Oh, it's the best. Talking about Tulsi, she does belong to the Council of Foreign Relations, though. Yes, she was a member of CFR, 5-year term member during her time in Congress around the 2010s, confirmed by multiple sources. Wikipedia says that her 2016 official press release from Congressional Office explicitly describes her as a member of the CFR. Leaked or archived CFR FY17 membership roster lists Gabbard Tulsi among members, noted with term membership details. She hosted CFR briefings and events such as one in Honolulu in 16. CFR has different membership categories: full members, often lifelong or senior, and term members, typically younger professionals, limited to 5 years. Gabbard fell into the term member category, which aligns with her profile as a rising politician and veteran with foreign policy focus. No indication she's a current member, especially given her shift to the Trump admin as Director of National Intelligence and her past criticisms of establishment foreign policy. But historically, yes, she was in CFR. It's a good point. We like Tulsi. Also, Tulsi's in CFR. I mean, it's going to be hard to find anybody that's not in some group or in some club or attended something or graduated from this or that or a diploma from here or worked at that place. I mean, it's going to be hard to find people that don't have some connections that go, well, let's put that out there just so we can all see it. Whatever it means, I don't know exactly what it means, but yeah, you're right. That is a good point. Hello to Super Bear, by the way. Howdy, howdy. Super Bear recuperating in Connecticut. Super Bear, am I right? Nick, you're in Florida? Originally from Lewiston, Maine. Oh, damn it. I was going to say Vermont. It was either Connecticut or Vermont. I'm like, hold on. I don't think Connecticut's right. Vermont, the big V. Bernie Sanders, the big V. New York taking the big L right now with Mom Doggy the Comedy.
Japanese citizens.
Anyway, all right, let's keep
in a
story. All right, shut up. What are we doing here?
I don't have a hesitation in asking those who
we've extinguished our stories on Instagram. This would be a good time to tell you that we are 100% crowdfunded. So if you enjoy the new American media, please consider subscribing to the things that we have and perhaps dropping a tip in our tip jar. We have Patreon, free versions. Everybody sign up for the free version of our Patreon. And if you want to do the $10 a month version, $100 a month, or $1,000 a month, those are options. Please sign up on Patreon at The New American Media. There's also monthly subscriptions on Rumble and YouTube. I'm not sure if you're aware, but you can subscribe to The New American Media on Rumble and YouTube, or drop us a tip in the Rumble Rant tip spot or the Super Chat YouTube tip spot. 3 other ways are Venmo and Cash App. That's just my name, Brian Engelman, spelled out at the bottom of the screen, ENGELMAN. And PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. So that'll all be scrolling at the bottom of the screen for anyone who is interested. And I'm very interested in telling you about it because, man, oh man, had to file corporate taxes. And shit, they're not doing those for free. Again, if I could just go 3 or 4 weeks without a random $1,000 bill, I would greatly appreciate it. Last month, it was Restream's $470. And it's almost exactly the same amount for corporate taxes. So your crowdfunding is super necessary and appreciated. Also had a conversation about maybe doing an ad read, a potential sponsor. So stay tuned for that. We're going to talk later next week. Yes, sir. Chuck Norris died. Or convert that into a joke. We got to use Chuck Norris facts. Super Bear, you're joining us late. Please post as many Chuck Norris facts. Or if you could give me a really good one about death in Chuck Norris, that like Chuck Norris didn't die. Chuck Norris passed away, which means that we need Chuck Norris facts about his death. I'd love a great joke there. It hasn't dawned on me yet. I haven't been able to think of one. I haven't found one, but we're looking for them. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch some Walker, Texas Ranger or something. Yes, and please post anything in the chat. Everybody, all day long, I want Chuck Norris facts. He deserves it. All right. Also, make sure you're following the New American Media on X. We are at American_media_. And once again, our Patreon link is pinned to the top of our X feed for ease of subscription. Yep, Chuck Norris dead at age 86. He was just posting some stuff. Here it is. Legendary actor, martial artist Chuck Norris hospitalized in Hawaii after the medical emergency. So yeah, on the island of Kauai within the last 24 hours. Nature of the emergency not disclosed, but he was in good spirits. Norris marked his birthday on the 10th, 10 days ago, posting a video of himself sparring with a trainer.
I don't age. I level up.
I don't age. I level up. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Rest in peace.
I don't age. I level up.
Legend. Born 1940. An American icon, a true American icon. What do we got here? Chuck Norris. It's with heavy hearts that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris yesterday morning, while he would like to keep the circumstances private. Oh. Please know that he was surrounded by his family and was at peace. Keep the circumstances private. Why does my conspiracy mind go to something? Why not just say what happened, unless it's something that you don't want to say? To the world, he was a martial artist, actor, and a symbol of strength. To us, the family, he was a devoted husband, loving father and grandfather, an incredible brother in the heart of our family. He lived his life with faith, purpose, and an unwavering commitment to the people he loved. Through his work, discipline, and kindness, he inspired millions around the world and left a lasting impact on so many lives. While our hearts are broken, we are deeply grateful for the life he lived and for the unforgettable moments we are blessed to share with him. The love and support he received from fans around the world meant so much to him, and our family is truly thankful for it. To him, you were not just fans, you were his friends. We know many of you had heard about his recent hospitalization, and we are truly grateful for the prayers and support you sent his way. As we grieve this loss, we kindly ask for privacy for our family during this time. Thank you for loving him with us. With love, the Norris family. I wonder what happened now. Doesn't strike me as an overdose guy. Super Bear saying Google is saying lung cancer, pneumonia. Marion says, I respect their privacy decisions. Easy, Marion, and a very good-looking icon, in my humble opinion. Easy, Marion. Easy, Marion. Yeah, I mean, he was a symbol. He was a sex symbol, for sure. So that's all we got right now. Medical emergency, not much else. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. And please, if you can find more Chuck Norris facts, drop them in the comments all day long. Speaking of comments, thank you, everybody, for being here. Hit thumbs up, hit the like button, and share the show, please. Share it with a friend. Text it to some of your buddies, text it to some family members. Help us expand so that we can grow. Here's Democrat Senator Jackie Rosen letting the cat out of the bag. Tell us what do you think this means?
It isn't about making our elections any safer.
The SAVE Act. No, it's not about making elections safer. Really? Because it is. Sort of a weird thing for you to say. But go ahead. Let's hear it. I want the Democrats doing a standing filibuster as long as possible, lying to us with the lamest possible excuses why you shouldn't be verifying eligibility to vote. Please do your filibuster all day long. Let's hear it all day. I'm nothing, all ears. I got nothing else to do. Nothing better to do than listen to why you don't think we should verify eligibility to vote. Go on, try to do it without sounding like, well, this.
It isn't about making our elections any safer.
Well, sure, lady with awesome glasses.
It's not even about keeping our elections free and fair.
Oh, I bet it's going to come up to something really good right here, huh? Who wrote this for you?
It's quite the opposite.
Oh, it's quite the opposite.
This bill is about making it harder for eligible Americans to vote and shrinking the size of our electorate to benefit Republicans.
Shrinking this, just let them talk. Let them talk. They can't help but let the cat out of the bag. They cannot help but expose themselves. Let them talk.
Our electorate.
Here we go. Right here.
To benefit Republicans.
Right here.
It isn't about making and shrinking the size of our electorate to benefit Republicans.
Shrink the size of the electorate to benefit Republicans. So the SAVE Act is going to block non-citizens from voting. How would that benefit Republicans? Well, if you're not eligible to vote and that's benefiting Democrats, doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. They'll say, no, that's not what I meant. We're just saying that, like, I don't know, poor people or women or, I don't know, they're too dumb and poor to, like, figure out life. They would never change their identification cards if they got married, heaven forbid. By the way, we're against marriage and families, but the dumb Democrats that do that, I mean, they're allowed to do that if they want to, but we're going to mock and ridicule them because that's so antiquated and patriarchal and okay. So what about the poor Republicans? Plenty of poor Republicans out there, are there not? Yes, there are. Can they somehow get a passport or get a real ID or get a birth certificate? Can they? Well, how would that only help Republicans? Makes no sense. Yeah, Super Bear. Democrats are something else. And what is that something? Well, I can't take them seriously either. No, I can't. Figure it out or sit it out. I shared with you how I was texting with Pearl Jam. Not directly. It was an official Pearl Jam post. We stand against the Save America Act. What do they call it? Not vote integrity. They called it suppression. It's voter suppression. Okay, morons. I said, hey, Pearl Jam. Are you engaging in listener suppression when you require valid evidence of a purchased ticket to attend your concert, you dumb fucks? And at said venue, are they participating in drink discrimination when they require valid proof of eligibility, being 21 years or older, to purchase alcohol, which is a major financial factor involved with booking any band anywhere? You fucking morons. Oh, but it's something different with voting. The fuck it is. Sorry, guys. I do occasionally try to rein in my You know. They either know they're full of shit or they're the dumbest people on earth. I don't know if it can be both. You can be dumb, but if you're so dumb as to believe the dumb shit, you wouldn't be full of it because you wouldn't be intentionally lying. But if you are intentionally lying, you're not that dumb. Am I kind of laying this out properly? Tell me if there's a flaw in my logic. I used to wonder this all the time. Is Barack Hussein Obama, is he really bad at his job? Is he completely inept and stupid? Or is he a fucking traitor? Because I don't think you can be both. I guess in his case, maybe you could be. You could be so dumb that you're swayed into dumb shit. And people are saying that's what happened with President Trump with Iran. Charlie Kirk, Tulsi Gabbard, a lot of people like, don't do that. And it's like, no. Netanyahu's got him by the balls. He did something to somebody on Epstein, but, you know, this dates back all the way to where? Bill Clinton? And the only president to actually get him indicted and release any files. It was Trump's. It was his terms where these things happened. Could Pearl Jam and the Democrats in Senate be this stupid as to think that this is what's really going to happen? And it's only going to happen for the Democrats. It's only going to be hard for Democrat women to get proper paperwork. Anyone that gets married knows it's a hassle. I was married. She told me. I listened. I believed her. And you know what? We were adults. We were able to figure it out. Well, I don't have a copy of my embossed. Is that the phrase, embossed? They have like the stamp. It's like the elevated stamp. You do the stampy thing. Well, I don't have one of those. I had to do this shit to go to Mexico. I had to get a passport. I didn't want to spend $100-something. You do it because it's what you got to do. But yeah, she had to change her name on her credit cards, on her driver's license, on this, on that, on the insurance, on the other insurance, on this paperwork, that paperwork. It's not without hassle. And yeah, it cost $145 for 10 years. That's $14 a year. Fucking figure it out. That's lunch one day. It's absurd what the Democrats are arguing. So yes, please, just go ahead and tell us every day how Democrats are going to be disenfranchised. You're going to lose Democrat votes, aren't you?
Shrinking the size of our electorate.
Yep, shrinking the size of your Democrat.
To benefit Republicans.
That's only going to benefit Republicans, which means Democrats are going to lose their voter pool. Huh. Now, this is interesting. John Root says the first female home plate umpire in MLB history. I don't know if this is true. This is kind of wild, and it's my team. So let me ask. At least I'll ask Grok. If she was the first female home plate. Oh my gosh, it was. Oh no, wait. Okay, but that happened last year, August of last year. So this video is from this year. The Reds and the Indians, or you can call them the Guardians if you want.
Big zone in the minors. You're doomed to fail in the big leagues. Pitch is a breaking ball out.
Actually, I don't think I can play any of this. But they throw the pitch. It's clearly in the area. And now catchers can put their hand on the top of their head and challenge a pitch. That was exactly right down the middle. Call overturned. And I think you should lose your ability to be a judge if you, and this should happen in our courts. It should happen in baseball. If you're doing some crazy shit, you should lose your right to be a judge. No doubt about it. Is that a wild response? Or do you agree? Tell me in the chat. Do you agree or disagree? Whether you're a Major League Baseball umpire or whether you're a criminal justice You know, you're a judge or a magistrate in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Seattle, Washington, and you're letting violent, crazy nutbags out to harm more innocent people. You should be removed from your job. Agree or disagree? See, our initial reaction was this. This is literally a day that could not happen. It could not happen according to Chuck Norris facts. But it's not funny. I need to make it funny. Because it can't, it's a paradox. Oh, okay, good. Let's go over here to Spain. Imtiaz Mahmoud says Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says anyone who insults Islam will be imprisoned. There is no place among us for those who insult religions, and anyone who insults the Prophet Muhammad or the Islamic religion will face a prison sentence of 5 years, pure insanity. And I said, hold on. The New American Media posted, this cannot be a real quote. Look at this. Boom. No official record exists of Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announcing prison for insulting Islam or the Prophet Muhammad. No such law exists. Spain Penal Code imposes fines of 8 to 12 months for insults to religious feelings. What? Yeah, you can insult people's feelings. That's not a violation. Grow up. People incite, people mock Jesus Christ and Christianity all day long. They're allowed to. Do so at your own peril. Kindly fuck off, but you're allowed to. That's not a violation of law. That's insane to say such a thing. So that's one of those somewhat true corrections by Grok. Directionally, it's true. You can go to jail for 8 to 12 months for insulting someone in religion. Like, I don't fucking care what does it matter to me? It doesn't. It doesn't matter to anyone else either. Cheer on whatever you want and insult whatever you want. Chuck Norris makes onions cry. On the seventh day, God rested. Then Chuck Norris took over. Oh, that's good. That's good. There is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris allows to live. Yes, those are coming in aggressively on the Rumble from Patriot Warrior. Thank you for that. Keep them coming. Thank you. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock says this.
8.2 million people registered to vote in Georgia. The Republican Secretary of State found 20 instances of non-citizens who were registered and only...
Oh, so wait, I thought they said non-citizens aren't getting registered. He's telling us that is happening.
9 had ever attempted to vote.
So 9 people who aren't supposed to be voting are voting. Well, we got to fix that. Those are rookie numbers. Get those up. Get those to 0 ineligible people. He thinks this is a flex?
And the majority did so before 2012. This is a solution in search of a problem that does not exist.
Why are you talking in single syllables to us like we are retards?
This is a solution in search of a problem that does not exist.
Oh, bugs me when I hear people talk like that.
Solution in search of a problem that does not exist.
Yeah, you can talk to me like an adult. I don't need to hear you doing that. Australia Prime Minister Anthony Albanese had to leave a mosque visit in Sydney early after things turned hostile. What's this about?
Boo Tony Black! Boo Albanese! What are you doing here? Genocide supporters! Boo! This is bad! Boo! Genocide supporters! Dear brothers and sisters, impacts our community. Get him out of here. We as Australian Muslims. Get him out of here. We as Australian Muslims need to have these deep intellectual discussions in regards to how we navigate the path of engaging political leadership, the media and the wider worship. Respect the place you're in, please. This is a mosque. Respect us. Please sit down. Please. Boys, sit down. Please sit down. All of you sit down, please. Sit down.
I gotta say though, Muslims with an Australian accent is something I did not have on my bingo card.
Sit down. We invited politicians to make us feel good about ourselves, but never genuinely had a robust.
It was at that moment right here that he knew he fucked up. Look at how uncomfortable he looks. What was that thing we played yesterday? Super Bear. What was the one about the rise in violent spider attacks may lead to a harmful increase in arachnophobia? Oh, does he look uncomfortable? Maybe you should.
Effective communication with them about the issues affecting our community. Right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You called him honorable. You called him honorable. He's responsible for the deaths of 1 billion people. 1 billion of my brothers and sisters. 1 billion. 1 billion. 1 billion.
Well, that went as well as you could expect.
Why is protecting it? Why is protecting it?
Well, let's not do that again, Mr. Campaign Organizer.
1 million dead, 1 million. The brother, he supports it, brother. He supports what you're being here for. You know what? These have you don't represent us anymore. You don't represent us.
Coexist. Elon, he is a simple man. Okay. This is my moment of Zen, if you can remember to bring me back here. This is my moment of Zen. We'll get back to that. So Ospill says cancel culture is still alive. So college Republicans host James Fishback, record-breaking 500-plus turnout. Smooth event, no complaints. Police happy, students happy. Chapter grows bigger. Spring break starts. Bra.jpg. University of Florida shuts you down. FFCR, who you're not even affiliated with, revokes your charter. Air quote, findings of anti-Semitism. Yeah. I don't know exactly what that is, but that's such a vague term, I don't recognize it. I don't recognize far right. I don't recognize anti-Semitic. I don't recognize Islamophobic. I don't recognize misogynist. I don't recognize white supremacist. I don't recognize... There are so many technical sounding terms that are used to try to insult normal people with normal ideas, normal questions, normal opinions, and normal concerns. I don't use... There's a litany of words. I should probably write them all out one day. But yeah, I don't recognize that term anymore because of how it's been overused. You cry wolf too many times and you just stop listening. That's on them. That's not on me. And that's not one term or any other term. It's about all these terms. University of Florida complies with zero due process. Turns out you belong to CRA. CRA is outraged. I don't know what these are. FFCR misled UF, University of Florida, to disband a CRA chapter. in a power grab. First Amendment ignored. Weeks ago, the chapter was attacked by the Indian lobby. Is that Feather or Dot? I don't know. And you had little backup, had to apologize. And then this time, full patriot mode. CRA's president, I'll stand with UFCR. Fishback, Sabatini, massive conservative outrage rolling in. Sabatini says he'll fire a First Amendment retaliation lawsuit Monday morning if UF doesn't reverse. Very big concerns about Ron DeSantis pushing whatever that is he's pushing. You can't criticize the country of Israel without being anti-Semitic. That's not how it works. And nobody's a special chosen people that are immune from criticism. Christians can be criticized. Whites and blacks and Asians and Hispanics and Eskimos, everybody can be criticized. Muslims, Jews, America, Mexico, Canada, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, Palestine, everybody can be critiqued, criticized, and you can talk shit about whoever you want. Nobody gets to say, nope, that's a special group that you're not allowed to ever have a negative view or opinion or question of. Nope, that's not real. So I don't know exactly. Now, I'm also going to say, when you're screaming from the river to the sea, like that is a call for genocide to wipe the cockroaches off the face of the earth. And you need to be honest about what you're calling for. You can't talk out both sides of your mouth. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that the entire nation of Israel should be eradicated and they should be wiped off the face of the earth. I'm not calling for genocide, you misinformation artist, you disinformation monger. I think I can tell what from the river to the sea means. Thank you for lying to me. But I digress. So anyway, pay attention to Fishback since they don't want him talking. Happy spring equinox, people. I wore this today. 2 more days of peace and love. Oh, peace and music. There it is. 2 more days of peace and music from the 1994. No, I was not there at this one. Happy spring equinox. Brighter days are here. Today marks the first day of astronomical spring, when day and night are almost exactly equal in length as the sun passes directly over the equator. Gathering at Stonehenge. Bring your drum. It's gotta be a fun place. I've been to Druidic events. So happy spring, everybody. We played this before, but this is why you never vote Democrat ever. This is Democrat Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker talking about the Democratic Project 2029. If you missed it before, here it is again.
What does a Project 2029 agenda look like for you?
I don't think you can speak of it in shorthand, but I'll just say a couple of things that I think are absolutely necessary. One is we've got to restore the rule of law, and that means holding people accountable who've broken the law. I'm talking about in this administration, when we get a new one, the people in this administration who've broken the law and federal agents who've broken the law need to be held accountable.
And that means criminally prosecuted.
Criminally prosecuted, civilly prosecuted, whatever it is that we can do, right? It may be that you can't criminally prosecute somebody, but that you can go after them civilly.
What does a Project 2029 agenda
more lawfare
look?
In a nutshell, it's lawfare. Oh my. Chuck Norris has a diary. It's called the Guinness Book of World Records. Freddy Krueger has nightmares about Chuck Norris. Nice. I got to ration some of these. But yeah, Logan Hall says, LOL, if we ever come to power again, we're going to flood the country with another 100 million illegals and throw you all in prison. Senate GOP. Guys, we can't break with our precious norms and procedures and pass voter ID. Exactly. Get on with it. Tim Burchett, daggum. He's surprised Democrats vote against deporting a foreigner who harms an animal. Why would you? They vote against. Well, here, I got something to say, daggum.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. I don't know if you caught it
Hey, everybody, I'm Tom Bodette. We'll leave the light on for you.
yesterday on the House floor. The Democrats voted against a bill that would deport folks who abuse an animal or kick an animal that is in service to our government, federal government. What happened was, I believe, an Egyptian fellow somewhere had kicked a dog that was working for a police officer, and very little could be done. So they've passed a law that if that happens, have to go back to their country of nationality. And everybody acts surprised that Democrats voted against it. I mean, they vote against bills that, when people harm Americans, of sending them back, and yet they keep getting reelected. That's the bigger question, I think. Why are you surprised that they would vote against a bill like that? So, need to start paying attention, folks. It's a lot later than we think. Pray for our country. Thank y'all for sending me here.
It is a lot later than you think. Yep, Scott Jennings, they vote against deporting migrants who harm humans. What did you expect? So stupid. No matter the crime, says Elon Musk, they won't deport someone who votes for them. Hey, let's check in Los Angeles. KTLA reporting the 53-year-old victim. Oh, this is great. A convicted double murderer out on parole. Hey, let's let convicted double murderers out on parole. Or execute them. Or put them on a chain gang for life. Or, anyway, 53-year-old victim found with her hands tied and wrapped in a blanket and likely choked to death. Wow. Hey, Gavin Newsom, how's your California doing? You letting out some double murderers? You couldn't think of anybody else to let out of your jail, so you let double murderers out? Well played. This woman did not deserve to die that way. Daniel Foch says Canada observed the largest decline in happiness in the world, along with the UK. David, largest decline in happiness in the world, right along with the UK. English-speaking countries have fallen down the rankings. So I wonder why. You're flooding English-speaking countries with people that don't speak English. They don't have English values. They don't have the same beliefs. They don't have the same mentality. They don't have the same respect. They don't have the same cultures. They don't have the same norms. They don't have the same ideals or morals. Wow. Imagine that. Sometimes cultures don't mix because they are different. Not everybody has the same set of principles, values, and beliefs. That's why you like having societies that have the same general principles. You can't just dump 40,000 people, 40 million people into a nation and expect people to be happy. Canada, United States, UK, all been invaded by the Obama doctrine at play. Meanwhile, Finland, Iceland, Denmark, doing okay right there, 1, 2, 3. Let's check in on Houston TSA line, stretching a mind-blowing 150-minute wait time. Snaked around the airport, down an escalator, and into a baggage claim. Wow. That's right.
The line where you get your ID and boarding pass checked is all the way up there. It comes around here, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. It snakes through here, But then you have to take the escalator over there down to the baggage claim downstairs, and that's how you end up down here. Right now, according to that board, it says that the wait is 150 minutes. Not sure if that's accurate. This is all.
Remember, the Democrats have shut down TSA, Department of Homeland Security, and we say Democrats cannot be trusted to govern. Retire every Democrat everywhere to send them a message. Check out yesterday's show. Is MAGA collapsing or stronger than ever? Jackson Hinkle is going to ask the question. Hold on. Netanyahu might actually be gone? Watch his left hand.
One.
Okay. If that's a real clip from this video, this is really weird. Watch the sleeve. Oh, I got to go full screen here. Yes, Marion, Democrats don't get reelected. They keep cheating on elections. By the way, for countervailing views on elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control for countervailing views, because they'll tell you 2020 was the only free and fair election in the history of elections, and Joe Biden and the Democrats totally got 81 million completely legitimate votes, and not a single fake vote was counted. Okay. Watch his sleeve.
One.
That just completely generated. But I don't know if this is a legitimate video that we're watching. Dude.
Removing the nuclear threat. Second, removing the ballistic missile threat. One.
What do you think of this? I know that I'm watching something generate, but is this a real video? He's saying original timestamp 1017. So-called live press conference can in fact be pre-recorded. We've moved beyond that stage. No confirmation that he's alive. Leaders conduct interviews privately and then broadcast. Almost came out perfect. Except for the sleeve and the coat. Is he or isn't he? What do you think about Bibi? Do you think he's gone? I'm seeing some really strange stuff right now. Let's click on this main. What does Grok say? Okay, hold on. It's debunking a rumor. He's promoting a debunked rumor. Official statements and fact checks from sources like Snopes confirm he's alive and addressed the hoax March 15th, 5 days ago. Oh, hold on. Where do we... I want to find out. Okay. Yeah, Grok. Does his left hand sleeve indicate AI video here? It sure seems to. Never-ending saga. Go ahead and vote in our poll. Do you think Bibi has been injured or killed in the war? Yes, obviously. Nope, we see him. Who the heck even knows? I rarely give you a third option, but at this point, Who even knows? Open source intel is with their 1.2 million followers, is reporting General Ismail Ahmadibazij, the intelligence chief, has been eliminated. Talking about Democrats, how they got in power and what they're doing now that they are. Marion first says, the saying of don't believe your lying eyes doesn't even apply with all the fake videos. Don't know what to believe. Yep. Grok says it's debunked, but explain that video moment then. Was that fake? Did that never happen? Or did it happen and you're trying to tell me don't believe my lying eyes? Margot Cleveland says, when I was in law school, we learned about something called the one-way ratchet theory of rights. This legalistic abomination, pushed by Thurgood Marshall, among others, contended that once a government entity created a new right, it could not later decide to take that right away. It now appears federal district courts are putting the one-way ratchet theory to a new use. If a Democrat administration expands the government, a Republican administration cannot later undo the expansion, even if it uses the same procedural mechanisms. Government can never shrink, it can only grow. As with all of the left's legal theories, the left always wins. That's terrifying. Patty Girl MAGA says Mom Donnie's wife dropping the N-word and using gay slurs on various social media platforms. And she's cool, though. Paula Deen uses the N-word in 8th grade and gets canceled and destroyed, and her career was ended. So, you know, do with that what you will. Lake Leon says he's alive and well. Make sure you vote in the poll if you haven't yet. Make sure everybody votes in that poll on our X account. Let's check in with disgraced FBI director, former FBI director, Jim Comey.
It has been coming into focus since we've been on the air. The former director of the FBI, Jim Comey, has reportedly been subpoenaed in a wide-ranging grand conspiracy case that they're trying to assemble against anyone who ever investigated and sought to prosecute Donald Trump. We'll get to that. It has been coming into focus.
You know, I wanted to take an issue with how she was framing it, but yeah, anyone who ever
ranging grand conspiracy case that they're trying to assemble against anyone who ever investigated and sought to prosecute Donald Trump. We'll get to that. It has.
Well, I guess you could say that was framing President Trump. The best part, the court that subpoenaed Comey is in the Southern District of Florida, not D.C. Let's go. Matt Van Swole says illegals are voting, getting free food, free childcare, free education, free tax credits, free healthcare, free housing assistance, free legal representation, free mental health services, free college tuition in over a dozen states. It is the most insane scam ever perpetuated on the American people. I agree. Senator Katie Britt nails it from the Senate floor. Perfect mic drop on Democrat hypocrisy. Democrats are okay with requiring an ID to shovel snow and enter their campaign rallies, but not to secure our elections. Exactly. Democrats want an ID to shovel snow and enter their campaign rallies, but not to secure our elections. Fuck you. Fuck you. Katie Miller says this is an asset seizure. 52% of Californian voters now support taxing Americans to pay for illegal alien health care. Oh, really, though? You want to take from Americans and give to illegal aliens. Is that how you're going to do it? Well, I would say that's why you do not vote for Democrats. Seems to be a bit of a recurring theme, does it not? California proposed billionaire tax gains majority support in new poll with partisan split on voter ID. Good grief. How could anyone be against that? Oxygen needs Chuck Norris to survive. Nice. Representative Joni Ernst drops a bombshell. Take a listen.
$77 billion worth. The New York Post reports the sum included funds for radio equipment, shipbuilding, COVID-19 vaccine development, test kits, and therapeutics paid to companies like AstraZeneca and Microsoft between fiscal years 2021 and 2025. On the surface, that spending seems legitimate. So why keep it hidden?
Right. Exactly. So more transparency. It is Sunshine Week in Washington, D.C. And more transparency is always better because if there is valid spending, the taxpayer should know about it. If there is spending that is very bad, just as in the octopus hypnosis and monkey mind reading, our taxpayers should know that too. And then demand answers of those that spent the money on those ridiculous scientific projects. So, John, we waste a lot of money, and what we need to know is that if our taxpayers are sending their hard-earned dollars to Washington, D.C., then the Pentagon and every other agency, we need to know that it's being spent wisely, whether it's for the benefit of our war fighters or the benefit of our farmers and so forth. Right now, we're not seeing those results. So again, we need transparency. We can do that through my Cost Act.
Right.
$77 billion in Pentagon research and development spending deliberately hidden from taxpayers.
And the secret spending
unlawfully kept off the book.
Act as well. It was introduced last year. I'm not sure where that is at this moment, but the president's launching.
Okay. Jake says, well, here's a report from Fox. Let's get the top of the report.
Well, it has finally happened out in California, over a decade in the making, as oil has begun to flow from a controversial California pipeline system for the first time in more than a decade following a Trump administration order, despite state officials decrying the move. For more on this, let's go out live right now to Santa Barbara, California. That's where we find Fox News' William Lajeunesse with a breakdown.
Well, Mike, we're talking about 50,000 barrels of new oil coming online, and that is enough to provide fuel for hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Now, California hasn't built a new well since 1969 when they banned offshore drilling, but the rigs that you see behind me, those are in federal waters. Now, you'll see 3 rigs, actually, you'll see 2, there's 3 rigs here, that Exxon developed in the 1980s. Now, I've been out on those platforms before a 2015 oil spill, which cut off production when the state shut down the sole pipeline that brought that oil to shore. Now, on Friday, however, President Trump used his authority to override the state and reopen the pipeline. Now, even though this oil does help keep refineries in California open, and that has been a priority of Governor Newsom, and it also reduces the state's reliance on riskier and dirtier foreign oil coming in thousands of miles from, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, from overseas, Governor Newsom opposes the opening, saying California will not allow Trump's political stunt to put California communities and environment at risk. So last year, some Hollywood celebrities led a rally against this project, and they dismissed claims by the new owner that
I used to live right up at the top of the hill where there was drilling happening at a public park in Los Angeles.
Pipeline was safe.
They'll tell lies up the kazoo in order to justify drilling for oil at a time when we shouldn't be doing that.
It's got 1-inch wall thickness in the pipe, and the Trans-Alaska pipeline's only 5 inch. So 1-inch wall of steel is tremendously strong and it's in great shape, and we're already flowing oil through it at a rate of 50,000 barrels a day.
Yeah, that's a lot of cars, Mike. So California plans on challenging the president's ruling, or basically using the Defense Protection Act to open this pipeline, because there are so many military bases here in California, about 34. Others are in Arizona and Nevada that also depend on California refineries for their oil, using the Defense Production Act to reopen that pipeline. California is going to challenge that by saying that the pipeline is partially encroaching on state land, and therefore the state has jurisdiction. So a federal judge may ultimately decide whether the oil continues to flow or not. Mike?
And William, does this move by the Trump administration move the needle at all for places like, of course, California, but also Arizona, like you mentioned, to maybe bring those?
Yeah, look, let's be as careful as we can, but we need to have energy. That's all there is to it. Let's develop new energy. That's fine. But you can't shut things down without having a viable solution to replace the energy needs. That's lunacy. We all know that.
Prices down just a little bit at the gas pumps?
You know, the governor on one hand, you say supply demand, right? You put in more supply demand, you know, is mediated, and prices technically go down. The governor's going to argue that the world price of oil is what it is, and it's going to keep prices high. I think it is fair to say, however, that this, in fact, I know that this oil helps keep refineries. California used to have 42 refineries. Now we're down to 7, right? And they're closing because there's not enough oil in the pipelines to keep the refineries open. So by putting more oil in the system, they've already said it will keep those refineries open.
It's such a weird video. You can hear it.
That's what the governor of Arizona and Nevada have been barking for, because they're dependent on what California does. California is now importing gasoline from Korea. It imports 60% of its oil from overseas. So many people will go, wait a minute, there's a lot of oil right here. There's a lot of oil in this state, and yet the state which was at one time one of the top oil producing states in the country, now, because it's run by Democrats, they don't want to put any oil at all because they believe in, you know, the climate change argument, and they want to basically get rid of it by 2035, gas-powered vehicles. So as a consequence, there's no oil in the system to keep those refineries open. That's what the governors are arguing in those two states.
All right. Drill, baby, drill. Lisa Murkowski has been on the Senate floor for over 10 minutes, says Andrew Colvett. As a member of the GOP, she's doing an excellent job of advocating for the Save America Act. Oh, wait, no, she's not. That's super. She's explaining why it's apparently too hard to overcome logistical and geographical issues because of sled dogs and other things far less important than our nation's sovereignty. The amount of effort these people put into opposing something as simple as voter ID is astronomical and only proves how afraid they are. Afraid they are. Did I say that?
Save America Act.
Fine. Let's listen to the awful Republican idea, too. If we're going to listen to the dumb Democrat, let's listen to the dumb Republican.
I want to begin my comments this evening about the Save America Act and why I have spoken out in opposition to this measure. Not because I disagree with what my colleague from Utah has shared, that it should be the privilege allowed to U.S. citizens, this privilege of the vote. And I also would agree that asking for valid ID in order to participate in voting is not an unreasonable thing. In fact, my state certainly requires that, and I think most others do. But as with so much that we deal with, it's not just in the headline, it's not just in the top line, it's how would this apply in your given situation? And as a senator from...
Here's how it applies. You make it work. That's it. Just make it work.
It comes...
And now, by the way, let me add one caveat here. Let me be fair. I'm not against this particular component. If it would be in our national interest to provide some sort of funding mechanism to assist, maybe make it, I would be in favor. So maybe, okay, I got a lot of thoughts coming at me at once, and I'm trying to figure out how to say it to you as succinctly as possible, as accurately as possible. Okay. Maybe this is about extracting some funding so that they can hire some people to go to these tough to reach areas, or the super poor, the super stupid who can't figure out how to well, what are we even talking about? People that get married and change their name. Yeah, every document change, like what? If they're holding out to get a little bit of funding, to maybe get a little bit of a kickback, to say, hey, look, it's going to be $145. Guess what? You're here at the right time. It is so important that we verify voter eligibility. You're going to get your passport for free. And you know what? We'll send you your official stamped birth certificate through the mail, certified. That'll be on the house too. You just got lucky. Or maybe just say every American gets their next passport for free, and just say every American gets one. You got to do the paperwork, and guess what? We'll maybe there's some funding mechanism. If that's what Murkowski's doing, I'll walk all my complaints about her back and say, yeah, I mean, but don't just give it to the people that haven't taken care of their business. Make it so that everybody, even the people that have taken care of their business, can get a passport for free. If that's the way we got to play this, and if that's what they're holding out for, I might hold my nose and be like, fine, I guess. Although I don't trust anything about her.
From a big state, some would say a very unique state, a very complicated state. I don't think that there's too many where you have dog races that go just about 1,000 miles and we celebrate them. And the fact that the trail that these animals and their mushers took goes through an area where, yes, people live, but we're not connected by any roads. The way that we get around is just a little bit different from other folks. And so recognizing and appreciating the distinctions that come to bear when you take a measure that is good in purpose. Citizens should be allowed to vote, valid ID should be required, but you got to peel back the cover here and see how is this going to be implemented. And so I want to focus, I know that there's multiple versions of the bill. The senator from Utah just pointed to that. I want to speak to the substitute amendment to Senate Bill 1383, which we have now, and focus on the particular challenges and the practical challenges that it creates for a state like Alaska that is 1/5 the size of the United States, with a population of just over 700,000 people. And so it's the challenges that we have specifically with registration, with the requirements for a photo ID, and then I'll speak a little bit to the mail-in voting limitation. One of the first places to start is you're saying, all right, if you said, Lisa, you don't oppose the intent of this, and you come from a big state, and there may be logistical challenges in implementing it, when does all this come into play? Well, that's an important consideration, because as the bill is drafted right now, these provisions are effective upon passage of the bill. And so that means that Alaska and every other state is going to have to comply with a new set of laws that in my state situation that contradict our state laws. And we are in the midst of an election cycle. We are less than 8 months away now from our general election.
I don't even. I'm trying to soak this up. What is she even getting at? Am I the only one here? I'm trying to. What is her point? It seems like she's making shit up as she goes.
In addition to immediate implementation of the provisions under this bill, there's no support that comes to the state. When I say support, there's no federal resources that come and say, all right, you need to figure out how you can get more photo identification, mobile units out to remote areas where.
Okay, so she's maybe asking for some funding to get some people to, hey, let us know, mail something to everybody, return this letter if you need assistance, and it might be a financial trouble for you to get a passport. Okay, fine.
It is hard to do. You need resources. You need people in order to absorb this, the numbers that you will see when people come to your division of elections or your public assistance office with original documents. You need more folks. Well, here's the money. Well, we're not helping with that. So the states would be forced to bear the entire cost of implementation right away, just right away. So this is a tall order. And again, you're trying to stand all of this up while we are in the midst of an active election year. And certainly in my state, we would be redirecting, if we had to comply with a federal law, we would redirect funds from elsewhere. But this is just, okay, it's a logistical challenge. Is it insurmountable? Maybe not. Is it going to be really hard to do in certain places? I think that's fair to say. So maybe I'm starting with the easiest point here, which is the implementation on the timeline that this bill outlines.
Okay, I deciphered all of that to say she might need some sled dogs to mush out to some people that need it. Are you hearing the same thing? Because when she was confronted, she said, well, not in the current form that it's being implemented. So maybe she was like, I could be convinced. So, all right, maybe. Like, Leon, she's just stalling. I have no clue what she's saying. I just kept listening, like, get on with the point. What are we bloody talking about, mate? Marion says, just tell me what percentage of Alaskans don't have any form of ID, maybe 5% or something. And fine, then you don't vote. I don't fucking care. If you don't care enough to get your documents in order, I don't care about you not voting. You don't care. Not everybody is supposed to vote. You're supposed to be up to date on the issues. You're supposed to be intelligent. You're supposed to be self-reliant. You're supposed to be a valuable contributor. You're supposed to have skin in the game. You're supposed to have a lot of components to participate in our voting system. Everybody should vote. No, they fucking should not. If people have no clue, they couldn't name the past 5 presidents. They couldn't point on a map to any of our states. They know nothing about foreign policy, but they're going to be convinced by someone down the road or in their family, hey, vote for this person because they're going to steal money from somebody successful and they're going to give your broke, lazy, uninformed ass free money. There's no such thing as free money. You don't want everybody just voting without any clue regarding the ramifications of what that vote will do. So in your case right there, you're saying maybe 5% of the people in Alaska might not have a form of ID. Then they don't vote. You don't sign up for jury duty. You don't vote. What it used to be, it was basically you had to be a landowner. Basically skin in the game. I care about how things play out because I'm heavily invested in this. Some transient, some newcomer, they're like, I want what that guy has. Give me some of his stuff. No, you thief. It's like, you need to vote. You need to vote. Huh? For who? For what? I don't even know the issues. then don't vote. You know, Yeah, they probably don't want an ID. Staying on the lam already. Oh, yeah, Alaska is a great place to just go and disappear, is it not? Missing college student from the United States located. Uh-oh.
I've been doing interviews with Fox for many, many years now. A number of the interviews that I've done go years back, and several of them were focused on spring break travel and how to protect our youth when they're traveling on spring break. What our spring breakers and our children don't understand is the world is not the same as it was 10 years ago.
Be careful.
This is a completely different world. And when I hear about people traveling overseas, college students traveling overseas, young girls going backpacking by themselves after they graduate from college, it's disturbing. It's scary because more and more I've seen, just based on the calls that I'm receiving from people who travel and are being attacked on vacation. I'm seeing it happen more and more in Colombia, where Americans are being targeted. They're being dosed with scopolamine, which the bad guys call it the devil's breath. A little bit too much of that scopolamine and it can kill the victim. But you're seeing people that are being drugged, robbed, and unfortunately, if they're drugged or dosed too highly, it can lead to their death. But you are definitely right when you say that we should be concerned about travel overseas, because this is a completely different world now.
Well, all right then. Be very careful when you're traveling. I agree. Reminder, Judge Arthur Engeron and Letitia James claimed Mar-a-Lago was worth between $18 and $27.6 million. Remember that? Remember that ridiculous thing? You got to go after Trump because he something about the value of the property. It's like, that's not up to the person. It's up to the bank, you dorks. Well, Forbes just valued Mar-a-Lago at, well, $650 million. Good grief. 36 times what they claimed. They scammed just to get Trump on fraud. They both belong in prison and they're evil. I agree. Should Engeron and Letitia James be in prison? Engeron and Letitia James should be in prison. Agree or disagree? I'm going to agree right there. ALX reporting. U.S. Mint is cleared to begin production of President Trump commemorative gold coins to mark America's 250th anniversary. Is this real? I don't know if that's real, but all right. Interesting. Commemorative gold coins. Well, why is it silver? Hey, remember that awful case we kept telling you about? The 3 awful dirtbag teenagers who stuffed rocks in a girl's mouth and abused her horrifically. The lawyer talking about his remorseful client, but here's the client.
This is going too far. This is rape. We shouldn't be doing this.
Jones's lawyer said statements made by the victim herself suggest his client was remorseful.
My kid that's laughing and smiling. Remorseful.
Suggest his client was remorseful and participated out of fear.
This is going too far. This is rape. We shouldn't be doing this.
Jones's lawyer said statements made.
Now, by the way, this could be very deceptive editing.
By the victim herself suggest his client was remorseful and participated out of fear.
This is going to.
But still, laughing on a day like that where you've participated in awful, disgusting stuff. Maybe not a wise idea. Also, screw that kid. Tucker Carlson asks Joe Kent why the Thomas Crook surveillance tapes haven't been released.
The current president was the subject of a near successful assassination attempt like recently.
Yeah.
And we're just not going to look into very obvious leads or divulge information that everyone knows they have. For example, the surveillance tape from the shooting range at which Thomas Crook's trained, because it would answer the question, was he training with somebody? And if so, who? They have that footage and they won't release it. What could possibly be the explanation for that?
I know what the result is. The result is people come to their own conclusions, and this is where like crazy conspiracy theories come from. And then those conspiracy theories usually are easy to debunk or make the people saying them sound crazy. So then the actual question never gets answered.
I'm sorry. Can you say that for people who haven't lived in Washington? Okay, I try to explain this to people all.
For those of you in Rio Linda, California, what he's saying is they withhold everything, even the basics, so that all you're left with is the kooky conspiracy theories that will muddy the waters intentionally.
The time, because this has been ongoing since at least the Kennedy assassination, but this is a very serious and reoccurring thing. It's a tactic, and you just explained it better than anyone I've ever heard. Can you just do that again if you can recall it from memory?
Yeah, I mean, so basically you give no information whatsoever on something that's obvious that there should be information. Like you outlined, like there's potentially footage of crooks at the shooting range. Again, Police 101, go get the tapes. Let's figure it out. If you don't want to address that question, then you go silent on it and you say, you can't ask that question, which then creates people who come out of kind of nowhere and they start drawing their own conclusions. Knowing the way the internet works, I mean, half of them, or if not more, are probably going to be so far off in left field and made by legitimate kooks or bots that then you can just be like, oh, these people asking these questions about that tape at the video range.
It's space
They're
aliens.
All crazy conspiracy theorists. They say it's a UAP or whatever. And so then you've just, diverted all attention away from the thing that you're trying to conceal, and now everyone's focused on the crazies.
Man.
And then the second someone asks a legitimate question, they're crazy.
So that's an interesting perspective right there. I'm glad I listened to that. Jerome Powell doubles down on his past mistakes, says Peter Navarro. Too late, Jerome Powell, the worst Fed chair since Arthur Burns, signaled his intention to remain on the board of governors even after his term as chair expires. This should set off alarm bells. For more than 70 years, Fed chairs have exited when their term ends. Get thee gone, Jay, for the sake of this country and the integrity of the Fed. We showed you that Japanese moment. This is so adorable. I thought that the Japanese prime minister would bow. Instead, it went like this. She jumped in for a hug. That's kind of awesome. Oh, hi there. Oh, hey, okay, yes. All right, we'll do that. We'll do the hug. Oh, boy. Dr. Malouf says Muslims are now entering churches in Minnesota, performing loud Islamic prayers, intimidating local Christians. Is this accurate? This can't be accurate. What's Grok going to tell me? Well, we'll show you the video and we'll see if we can.
مسیحی می شوم عیسی اگر ثابت کند مرده ای را زنده کرده بدون یا علی من کلیمی می شوم موسی اگر ثابت کند مسیحی می شوم عیسی اگر ثابت کند مسیحی می
You say they're likely Muslim based on attire. What about the language? No visible disruption or prayer in frames, but audio includes chanting, singing. Okay. Well, keep your eyes peeled. Eyal Yacobi says today the Islamic Republic hanged multiple Iranian civilians, some of whom were just teenagers. Amnesty International, UN, Human Rights Council, and Red Cross. Silent, 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 silent. Well, what do you know? Danielle Gill says the Oscars, which mocked Turning Point USA's Super Bowl halftime show. Did they? I guess they did, huh? Well, TPUSA's halftime show got 25 million household views. The Oscars? A measly 17.9 million. The American people are done being lectured by out-of-touch elites. Go figure. Chuck Schumer and other Democrats insisted they actually support voter ID, says Mike Lee. Well, they just object to other parts of the Save America Act, but they do support voter ID. Senator John Husted does this and sets the record straight. Bravo.
Madam President, showing a photo ID is common sense. The American people support it by an 80-20 margin. And as I've been saying for more than a decade and a half, it is possible to make it both easy to vote and hard to cheat, and we should make that a national standard with a photo ID law that is easy to implement and is proven effective. Passing voter ID requirements is common sense, and passing this provision that I offer tonight, that's part of the Save America Act, is right for election integrity, and it's the right thing to do for voter confidence, and I urge a yes vote.
I want to thank my friend and distinguished colleague, the senator from Ohio, for his observations, for his insights on this. This is one of many true talents we have in the Senate. He's particularly well qualified in this area, given his experience in the state of Ohio with mastering the election laws of that state and the federal election laws that overlap with state election laws. I'm not sure there's anyone in the Senate currently or who has ever served here who has a greater knowledge of these laws and the way that they intersect. For the same reasons articulated by the senator from Ohio, I think this is an exceptionally good idea. It's not every bill where it makes sense to separate out a provision, try to pass that provision on its own, separate from the rest of the text of the bill. But this is one of those instances where it makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong, neither I nor the senator from Ohio are suggesting that we still don't need the rest of the Save America Act. That's not our point. The point is that these are separately divisible, such that they could be enacted separately. And insofar as there is a greater degree of consensus with regard to
put it together in pieces, sure,
to the voter ID component of the Save America Act than there are with regard to the citizenship components. It makes sense for us to get this done now. Let's pass it. Let's pass it right now. Let's pass it by unanimous consent. Let's make this law, and then we can proceed back to deal with the rest of the issues within the Save America Act.
Exactly. Well done. That's how you do it. It's rare that I feel like Congress is working. It's rare that I feel like they're doing anything but wasting time and money. This nails it. Gets right to the heart of it, I think.
This is what progress looks like. This is what consensus building looks like. And I thank my friend and colleague from Ohio for raising this. Look, no matter how you feel about the rest of the provisions of the bill, it's not too much to ask somebody to just show who they are when they show up on voting day. That provision is very simple. Let's get this passed. Let's get it done right now.
Madam President.
I love it. 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 Make it happen. Make it so. That's the way you do it. I'm in. Democrats blocked it. They're saying a tale of two Iranians, 19-year-old national champion wrestler executed for the crime of marching with 30,000 other murdered young people who just wanted freedom. Canada says nothing. A Shia cleric of the Islamo-fascist regime just given Canadian citizenship. Oh, David. Marching in support of the regime in an Al-Quds parade in Toronto, his first week in Canada. If there's a way for Canada to be on the wrong side of history, this is it. Good grief. CBS News poll say 80-20 favor the law to require photo ID. Even CBS can't lie about it. But 99.5% of House Democrats voted against it. So there's that. Furkan here plays this clip of Benjamin Netanyahu or Benjamin Netanyahu's ghost, depending on what you believe. Oh, AI is what I mean. He says a bombshell, Netanyahu accidentally reveals the real reason for the war. Take a listen and tell me what you think.
I think that what has to be done is to have alternative routes. Instead of going through the choke points of the Hormuz Straits and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits, in order to have the flow of oil, just have oil pipelines going west through the Arabian Peninsula, right up to Israel, right up to our Mediterranean ports, and you've just done away with the choke points for forever. I think that what has to be done is to have alternative routes.
Well, I think there do need to be alternative routes, obviously. Lindsey Graham scoffed, telling service members to get the vaccine and move on to the next question. Died suddenly, says Lindsey Graham, one of the highest GOP recipients of Pfizer's political PAC money. And now he's coming back to South Carolina asking those same military service members that he abandoned to send their kids to go fight and die in Iran. So do with that what you will. I'd be totally fine with Lindsey Graham being swapped out for somebody much better. Just saw a report that military shot down a missile over Ohio. Didn't look like a legitimate source, but I did wonder, was that really a meteor that came down or was that something else? I don't know. How could I possibly know? But I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. What is the, let's go past that one. Oh, here you go. Trump may require banks to verify citizenship for all customers.
Trump could soon force banks to take part in an immigration crackdown. What I mean by that is sources tell CNN the administration is considering requiring financial institutions to collect and verify their customers' citizenship status, something banks aren't currently required to do. One source says the new policy could come through an executive order. CNN's Matt Egan is following this story for us. So, Matt, what are you learning about how banks are responding to this possibility?
Yeah, well, Omar, this does appear to be part of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown. Sources tell CNN's Priscilla Alvarez and I that the administration is considering new action that would require banks to check the citizenship status of their customers. Now, this would be something that would actually apply not just on a go-forward basis, but also to existing customers, which is pretty stunning when you think about just how many customers the banks already have. Now, this action could also require banks to check a different category of documents than what they normally look at, including passports. Now, I do want to stress that nothing here has been announced or finalized. It's not clear here whether or not this would come in the form of an executive order or some other action. We reached out to the White House, and a spokesperson said that any reporting on policy that hasn't been officially announced is just speculation. But some Republicans do support this. Republican Senator Tom Cotton, he put out a post on X yesterday where he said, I strongly support President Trump taking action to prevent illegal migrants from accessing our banking system.
I mean, I don't want people who snuck in here hanging out here. You want to come in, announce yourself at the front door. You break in the back door of my house. You know, I don't want you here. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care what you look like. If you broke in, I don't want you here. That's it. If I go break into another country, all right. And so if this is a way to kind of make sure that you have a finger on the pulse of who's here and what they're up to, is there a downside to this that I might not be understanding? Tell me in the comments if I'm missing this.
He said he sent a letter to Treasury last fall asking for an investigation into this matter and that he plans to introduce legislation on this issue shortly. Now, Omar, you asked about how the industry is reacting. Officially, they're not really saying much, right? Representatives from major banks, from bank trade groups, they haven't commented on this. However, sources do tell CNN that the industry is concerned here because they're worried that this kind of action, it could almost compel them to be part of the administration's immigration crackdown. One financial industry source told me that verifying every bank customer's citizenship status would be unworkable. This source said it's a bad idea.
It's totally workable. Shut up.
We are very alarmed. Now, banks are required to adhere to anti-money laundering rules, know your customer rules, but they don't track the citizenship status of their customers. So if this did become official, that would certainly be a significant change. There's also some questions about whether or not this could discourage immigrants from keeping their money in the bank. Even undocumented immigrants, they do play a significant role in this economy. In 2023 alone, undocumented immigrants, they paid $90 billion in federal, state, and local taxes, and they had spending power of nearly $300 billion. And just one other point for you here, Omar. The president does talk a lot about cutting red tape. It's something he's very proud of. It's something that he mentioned during the State of the Union last night, where he took credit for cutting a record number of job-killing regulations. But this potential action related to banks and the immigration crackdown does show how, in some cases, the president has actually added new red tape and regulation where he sees fit. Back to you.
So I'm interested in this. Brandon Straka says a major immigration crackdown could be coming. You snuck in. It's not okay. Marion says, I agree. No banking, no social services, nothing on our dime. Do it the right way. Come in at the front door, knock. Representative Veronica Escobar's staffer posed as a lawyer at least 11 times to smuggle phones into an ICE facility in El Paso, according to acting ICE director Todd Lyons. Benito Torres is now banned from all ICE facilities. Banned? He should be going to jail. Fox News reporting UK police commissioner threatens to extradite and jail U.S. citizens over online posts. Will come after you? This cannot be true. It recirculates a 24 Fox News report on inciting riots, Southport after Southport stabbing. How about focus on the stabbers, not the people pissed off at the stabbing? God, the UK is backward and stupid. They're saying there's misinformation on platforms like X. What? All right. I don't know that can be debunked. Hey, did you see that video? I think last week we played you of Jeffrey Epstein in the car. See this? Yeah, have your kid in your own country too. Millions of people have been birthed here on travel tourism. Birthright citizenship has to be ended. 2 American parents makes a citizen. Flying in from Dubai or sneaking across the Rio Grande, bopping out a kid, that doesn't make a person a citizen. Okay, so this video over here, by the way, it's not just Mexico or Dubai, it's any place. Birth tourism is a real thing. It's a good point. All right, so we talked to you about this. Jeffrey Epstein spotted in Florida. Palm Beach specifically. Take a watch.
Hey everybody, this is Palm Beach Pete, and my video went viral because some dude randomly filmed me while I was driving on I-95, unbeknownst to me, and the next thing I know, I'm a viral sensation. I had my phone down for about 4 hours, and I didn't know my phone was blowing up with all these comments from that video, so I got a lot of traction. It's pretty crazy. Thanks.
So you're not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
That a boy, yeah.
Okay. Peace out. Hey everybody, this is Palm Beach Pete, and my video went viral because some dude randomly filmed me while I was driving on I-95, unbeknownst to me, and the next thing I know, I'm a viral sensation.
Is this Palm Beach Pete or is this Epstein? Have you ever heard Epstein talk?
I had my phone down for about 4 hours, and I didn't know my phone was blowing up with all these comments from that video, so I got a lot of traction. It's pretty crazy. Thanks.
So you're not Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete.
That a boy, yeah.
Okay. Peace out.
Jeez, Palm Beach Pete. We're living in a simulation or something. I don't even know what's happening. Ah, good grief. Good gravy now. Palm Beach Pete. Yeah, all right. What's Merlin Capital say? Israel discloses no journalists were actually present for the Netanyahu conference and that the dude is dead. We're just saying that the story won't die. What's Grok going to tell us? Anything? Come on, Grok. Misrepresenting Times of Israel report held without physical foreign journalists due to the Israel-Iran war as proof of death, perpetuating a debunked rumor. They're very consistent that this is debunked. Alleged Iranian missile strike. The hoax has spread via AI suspected videos highlighting hand anomalies, despite Netanyahu's personal video rebuttals and fact checks from Reuters and Snopes confirming he's alive. Minimum. Well, the story won't die anyway. Benjamin Weingarten says the Trump admin files its reply brief in the birthright citizenship case before the Supreme Court. It opens, the main object of the citizenship clause was to grant citizenship to freed slaves and their children. Because it was. Yes, it was. Whose allegiance to the United States had generally been established through generations of parental domicile. By contrast, aliens who are just passing through the United States and those who cross our borders illegally lack ties of allegiance and do not obtain the priceless and profound gift of citizenship for their children. To receive citizenship under the clause, a person must both be born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That language grants citizenship to children completely subject to the United States political jurisdiction. Children of temporarily present or illegal aliens do not qualify because their parents are not domiciled in and thus do not owe the requisite allegiance to the United States. Temporarily present aliens are only by definition not domiciled here, while illegal aliens lack the legal capacity to form such a domicile. Get it done. Shiloh Marks says that Michigan reported 8.2 million registered voters in 2024. That's it. And we let 40 million people sneak into this country. Oh my God. Michigan's voting age citizen population in 2024 was 600,000 less than that, 7.6 million. But Senator Elise Slotkin, a member of the Seditious Six, Democrat, Michigan, opposes the Save America Act. Huh. I wonder if those numbers are accurate. Experts note inactive voters and data lags can explain discrepancies without fraud. It can, but you're not saying that it does. So I'm not buying that. Not trusting that. Nope. Pittsburgh Public Schools will be closed for 3 days and compel asynchronous remote learning because the NFL draft will be in town. Since the city will have a lot of visitors, this will ensure students can continue learning safely and effectively. Unreal. Paradise Residential Services CEO Jocelyn Inahawazi runs a $16 million plus autism business amid allegations of fraud from former employees. She fled in her Mercedes-Benz E-Series, which personally I think is less gauche than her son's G-Wagons, says Steve Robinson. Tim Burchett is preparing a letter asking Secretary of War to remove the name of Cesar Chavez from the USNS Cesar Chavez. This was the longer clip.
Of course, no, Japan and US are very good friends, but one question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much, you know, when we go in, we went in very hard and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? He's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise, right?
There it was.
Of course not.
Just a wild interaction. Yeah, Dana White talking about trying to save the Iranian wrestler. Pretty heartbreaking. Harriet Hageman is setting the record straight about one of these lies you hear about illegal aliens in crime.
Mr. O'Brien, wouldn't you say that the same is true for crime statistics? Isn't that intentional to ignore the immigration status of many people who commit crimes in order to cover up the fact that, in fact, illegal aliens do commit crimes at a higher rate than native-born?
Yes, that is 100% correct. And you also have to take into account that any illegal alien is by definition a criminal because they have violated 8 U.S.C. 1325, improper entry by an alien, and so they've committed a crime to enter the United States.
Okay. Well, then, Mr. O'Brien, wouldn't you say that...
There you go. I'm tired of hearing that lie. I had a guest on recently, and they talked about that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You couldn't possibly believe that, do you? And I think you did. So here's a reminder that the Hoover Dam was built in the amount of time it's taken California to construct a small bridge for cats and butterflies. The Empire State Building was built in about a quarter of that time. Anomaly says it's gross how much money they waste, which is why we have to work hard for a fraction of this. Christopher Rufo says Gavin Newsom promised to build a bridge for cougars and butterflies in the middle of Los Angeles. This project has turned into another boondoggle with broken deadlines and costs exploding to $114 million. This is Gavin Newsom's bridge to nowhere. And it's also going to allow cougars, an apex predator, direct access into a suburban neighborhood filled with pets and children and the elderly. It's like the radical environmentalist version of the Purge. Franklin Andres Carmago testified before Congress, making a few things clear. Maduro was not a legitimate president. He's a narco-terrorist who committed crimes against Americans, not kidnapped. He was a fugitive who was captured. His capture was not only justified, it was necessary for the security of the American people. Valverde Unified issued real California diplomas to kids in China who've never stepped foot in the schools. Wealthy Chinese families bought spots at top United States universities. All expenses paid for, trips by officials. This is betrayal. California schools selling diplomas to kids in China so they could get into top U.S. universities. California might be the most corrupt state in the country, and that's saying something. Lives a TikTok reporting. Democrat Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger set to sign a new bill which discriminates against white men. The bill would mandate 42% of government contracts be awarded to women and minority-owned businesses. That is illegal as hell. Hey, remember that man that we shared in the video that said, I finna kill whites. I got out 2 days ago. I finna kill for real. Well, here's this piece of shit. Update, the man in the video is ID'd as Eric F. Vinson. 30 prior assault arrests. No. You need to stop letting people like that out forever. They go away forever. They lose free-range privilege on account of the fact that they won't stop assaulting innocent people. That's an interesting take. Marion says, I didn't realize butterflies use bridges to walk over. Strange butterflies in California. Yeah, I didn't. I read it. I read it multiple times, and I didn't even. Something about sanctuaries and whatever, but like they don't need a bridge to cross. However, butterflies are caterpillars, and so if there's like a habitat on both sides, the caterpillars could. We are grasping at straws, aren't we? Building a caterpillar bridge that goes over budget. Jason Curtis says, just because Mayor Mamdani's wife and father support suicide bombings doesn't mean that Zoran does or that he'd ever lie to us about his true feelings, right?
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
Oh. We did?
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
Wolf in sheep's clothing. Karadansky says there's a U.S. bill to establish a museum of women's history at the Smithsonian. It was very bipartisan. Republicans in Congress amended the bill to clarify that men don't count as women, and Democrats withdrew support. What? King Charles Youth Charity canceled boxing course for disadvantaged girls instead of banning biological males after parents raised safety concerns. You gotta be kidding me. I don't know about this story. Malika Azizi, you're saying she's set for execution in Iran? I hope not, and if so, I hope that stops, I think. Democrats are panicking in California. Take a listen.
Now, Democrats facing the very real possibility of an historic upset in California as a new poll finds two Republican candidates leading in California's gubernatorial primary. Our next guest is at the top of that poll, says there's a revolution brewing in California. California gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton joins me now. Steve, great to see you as always. You are our former colleague, so obviously we really like you. But how the heck are you, a conservative, leading the polls in such a liberal state like California?
Well, the answer to that question is a very simple four-letter word. It's called MAGA, and it stands not for Make America Great Again, like the president would say, but the guy who's obviously on a presidential campaign right now across the country, Gavin Newsom. MAGA stands for Most Useless Governor in America, and that's Gavin Newsom, because California has the worst results of any state in America.
Yes. Oh, let's listen to him.
We have the highest poverty rate, the highest unemployment rate, the highest cost of living, highest gas prices, highest cost for everything, insurance, housing, water, rent, you name it, car registration. Everything costs a fortune. You've got crime, you've got homelessness, the wildfire disaster. Everything's a disaster. And so people are saying, we've had enough. We've had enough of this. We need change in California. And I've been traveling the state putting out a strong, positive alternative. $3 gas. Cut your electric bills in half. Your first $100,000 tax-free. No more free healthcare for illegal immigrants. A home you can afford to buy. I capture it in one word. Cal-affordable. That's my campaign. And people are really getting behind it. And it's great to see the energy and momentum that we've got.
Cal-affordable.
But Steve, it's not just you. It's not just one Republican candidate at the top of the ticket. There's two, and admittedly,
yeah, but that other guy's not a Republican. He's a Democrat, the guy that wears the hat.
You are beating Chad Bianco 17-16 in this latest
I've watched him multiple times.
Look at the two people behind you two. Eric Swalwell there at 13%.
Katie Porter
also at 13%. How much are these numbers also a rejection of all the candidates, namely Swalwell and Porter, that the Democrats...
By the way, expect Porter to drop out, combine those numbers with Swalwell so that they can try to steal that election, and then she'll get a high-ranking position, just like they did when all the Democrats were forced to drop out and go behind Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It's what the Democrats do. It's what the Republicans don't seem to understand how to win.
...are putting out there.
Yeah, and there's another one. If you look at the Real Clear Politics average right now, I'm not sure it takes into account that latest poll, but the numbers are going to be pretty much the same. You've got Katie Porter on 10, you've got Chad Bianco, and another one, Tom Steyer, the billionaire climate fanatic, on 11%, Swalwell on 13, and I'm on 15.5. So whichever way you look at it, the Democrats that they're putting forward, as the president might say, they're not sending their best. These people are exactly the same kind of far-left insanity and useless career politicians that we've had now, and everyone's fed up with it. Look at who you've got in charge in California, Karen Bass and Newsom and all these people. Does anyone think that Swalwell or Katie Porter or Tom Steyer is going to take us in a different direction? Of course not. And people really want a new direction. And that's why I think, despite, of course, people look at California and say, well, it's so hard for a Republican to win, a deep blue state and all the rest of it. That may have been true in the past, but this year it's going to change. There's another really big thing everyone across the country should understand. We've got voter ID on the ballot in November in California. I know we're all talking about the SAVE Act, but here in California, it's on the ballot in November. That's going to mean a really big Republican turnout. And that's another reason why I'm very confident that in November I'll be elected the new Republican governor of California.
I mean, we're certainly watching for that. Obviously, Democrats are going to be under a lot of pressure to coalesce around one candidate to go against you, to go against Bianco heading into June. We will see if that happens, because the egos involved are large on the Democratic side. And this could set up nicely for you, Steve Hilton, to become the next governor of California. We can say we knew you when. Steve Hilton, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Great to see you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, California desperately needs new leadership. Bill Mitchell says Trump pulled off a genius move on Iranian oil, and it's savage. U.S. is letting 140 million barrels of Iranian oil that's already at sea get sold off. Prices drop, market gets flooded with supply, but Iran gets $0 because sanctions block them from the cash. Well then. All right, that's where I'm going to wrap up the show today. I have a moment of zen at the top of the screen. Let's scroll up here. Final reminder, if you want to throw something in the tip jar, I definitely appreciate that. You can sign up to be a monthly subscriber on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. Or you could drop us a Rumble rant or super chat. You just click on the thing and make it happen. You can also do Venmo or Cash App. That's just my name, Brian Engelman. Or on PayPal, it's at fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Your tips are crucial, necessary, and super appreciated. All right, where is this moment of the day? This one. 16 years ago, one man stood alone on a grassy hill at a music festival in Washington State. And he started by dancing by himself. And people glanced. And then they looked away. Some laughed. And his roommate leaned in and warned him people were filming him. He did not stop. Then one stranger got up and joined him. Then another. Then another. Then the hillside tipped. Within minutes, hundreds of people were sprinting from across the field to be a part of something. Part of something that 30 seconds earlier had been one man laughed at in a field. Now there's three dancers. Having fun. Now look, now there's 5 or 6. Now there's 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Someone filming from higher up the hill said quietly, "See what one man can do. One man can change the world." The clip spread across the internet in 2009. Here, let's go full screen. There we go. 2009. Entrepreneur Derek Sivers played it at a TED conference to explain how movements actually begin. It was one dude. One dude. Not with the first person who's brave enough to start dancing, he argued, but with the first person willing to join him. Colin Winter, the man dancing alone, later said he had no idea he had done anything special. He was just tired of watching everyone go. And look at that. Now everybody's dancing. There's probably a lesson in there somewhere, huh? Dance like no one is watching. Exactly. That is what he did. He just let it rip. I mean, from 2 people to 3 people. I thought she was going to walk in, but she sits down right here. That's all right. By the time he does that kickflip, people show up behind him, and it is party on. I wish I could just play music. I wish life wasn't so stupid to ban you from playing music, because the music's kind of fun of it. No idea what this song is. But look at that. Dance like no one's watching. One person can change the world, and that can be you this weekend. So go play the video game of life. Be careful, be alert, be prepared, but be productive, and be happy. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you, I love you, and we will talk to you again very soon. Dance like nobody's watching. Take care, everybody. Hey, look at that, a music festival. It all comes full circle, doesn't it? Peace, everybody.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.